Well, a left-leaning media organization claiming that Donald Trump is likely to win the presidency was not on my bingo card today. But yes, you may have heard of The Economist before. They are a left-leaning, center-left-leaning publication. They're generally very good with their economic data, their analysis, and you don't have to politically agree with everything they say. That's okay. You should always be critical of anything you're listening to. And of course, my goal in the video is to be neutral and unbiased here. But I'm just shocked because The Economist is very, very anti-Donald Trump. Any article they can throw in how much they dislike Donald Trump, they do. They do not like the Donald. Nobody knows dislike for the Donald like The Economist. Yet, what did they just publish? Donald Trump looks terrifyingly electable. If America's presidential election were held tomorrow, he would probably win. Oh, that's gotta be so painful for them to write. And I know there are a lot of people watching this right now going, hell yeah, let's go, eat it, let Trump win. And then there are other people going, no, no, no. I mean, that's the nature of politics, right? So, but let's look at the rationale that The Economist gives. And again, the reason I'm showing this, because I think it's so interesting, is it's the opposite of what you would expect. It must be crumbling to write this. Anyway, here they go. So, rivals have repeatedly argued that Mr. Trump would be unable to defeat Joe Biden, and Democrats refuse to even entertain the idea about Trump potentially winning again because they argue, hey, he's got so many indictments against him, he must be guilty, right? That's sort of the thesis that is promoted by people who are so anti-Trump, who are repulsed by the idea that Trump could ever be elected again. But because of that repulsion, they might actually be, as The Economist says here, blind to the fact that he is absolutely dominating polling. And we're talking leftist polling as well. It's left polling, it's right polling. It's either a tight race or it's a Trump win if the election is held today. Some of the big factors that they consider are listed right here. Voters believe they trust Donald Trump to do a better job on handling the economy, a better job on immigration, and a better job on the Israel-Palestine conflict. Now, what's fascinating is most people who are voters, who end up voting, don't vote because they believe in somebody's plan or they have critically analyzed and fundamentally analyzed exactly what a politician is going to do. Instead, most voters vote based on the emotion of which candidate they believe is most likely to be able to lead the best. People are looking for a leader in a candidate, somebody who is going to deliver hope, somebody who is going to take away pain, somebody who is going to deliver happiness. And unfortunately, Biden's economy has been driven by, in part, Democratic policies, but most importantly, the Federal Reserve fighting inflation. So, without being political, it's very obvious that anyone who becomes the president in a tightening cycle, which has been entirely on Joe Biden's back, is going to have a really hard time making people feel cheerful when interest rates skyrocket and everything that they're buying is already more expensive. You got both of those things happening in Biden's economy. So what do we have? We have a 59 to 37% lead for Trump versus Biden over Biden on the economy. 53 to 41 on immigration, 50 to 39 on Israel-Palestine. 7 in 10 voters, that's 70%, think Biden was too old to be an effective president, including the majority of Democrats. A majority of Democrats, since that 7 out of 10 could include Republicans. But majority of Republicans, it's more than half of Democrats think Biden is too old. But beyond that, and these are concerning statistics here, in the battleground states, Trump leads in almost all of them by a margin of 4 points. And Biden's only winning in Wisconsin in terms of battleground states by 2 points based on this NYT analysis. And we know these battleground states are key. Remember, Biden got elected promising to finish off that $2,000 stimulus check? Remember, it was the idea, the hope that there was basically going to be more stimulus. That's almost one of the reasons we saw a Biden re-election, at least in part, was the idea for more stimulus. But unfortunately, after that last round of stimulus, what happened? Fed came to crush the party and take the punch bowl away. But what's even more concerning is this. Listen to this. In these critical swing states, 42% of Hispanic and 22% of African-American voters said they would vote for Mr. Trump, which, if true, would mark a collapse of the minority support that Democrats had relied on for decades. So Democrats, remember Joe Biden's famous line, "If you don't vote for me, you ain't black." That was a famous line because it showed the ego of Democrats to believe that the minority populations will always vote for Democrats. That way, we support immigration, we support people moving here, we support via either sanctuary cities or health insurance or Section 8 or whatever it might be. We support what we can to bring people to America, get people into programs, and then they vote for us. Now, that support is being lost for not only those who are immigrating, but also Americans who are Hispanic or black. Both support is being lost. And that is support that I think Democrats are being a little cavalier with, thinking, oh, no. We got that vote. We got that vote. No, don't be so certain about that. And remember, this is The Economist saying this. This is a big deal when The Economist, again, very pro-Biden, is suggesting that Democrats are literally sleepwalking, their word, not mine. Sleepwalking Democrats. Listen to this line. To sleepwalking Democrats who believe that Mr. Trump has been rendered unelectable after his shameless attempt to overthrow the previous election, the results landed like a bucket of cold water to the face. Here you could see The Economist's bias, right? His shameless attempt to overthrow the previous election. We know they don't like Trump. And maybe you agree and say, hey, it was shameless. That's okay. Remember, I'm just reporting what the Economist here is saying, and reporting that we know they lean left, we know they don't like Trump, but they even acknowledge that Democrats are being blind to this change, and that could kill them in this next election. They say here, should Democrats be in a panic? They might try to console themselves by appealing to vagaries of sampling error in terms of basically trying to say, oh, well, there must be a problem with the poll. But as they say, the better argument for those who defend Biden is that polls are a snapshot in time. And even though the polls look bad now, the election is next year. And I actually have to agree with The Economist substantially here, mostly because the economy could be in a vastly different place next year. It's very simple. If we're in a recession in November of next year and consumerism has died and the stock market is even lower than it is now, then what happens? You almost guaranteed walk in Trump. But if by November of next year, a year from now, it's actually less than a week now, it's like 51 weeks from now, isn't that crazy? Yeah. A year from now, we might actually end up having Biden win with a good economy. If the economy recovers. Those are just ifs. I'm not saying what's going to happen. Obviously, I hope the economy is better because I don't like when people have money suffering and money pain. This is why I try my best to teach perspective that I can in my Numerous Pro crash courses. I encourage you to check those out. We have a coupon expiration tomorrow. That's Friday evening, November 10th. Learn more about those Numerous Pro crash courses at meetkevin.com. Great new content. They're on pre-sale. Those will be launching towards the end of the month, beginning of December. Despite the Biden administration trying to make Bidenomics a rallying cry, 55% of Americans say the economy is getting worse, not better. Real wages are down about 1.4% since Biden took office. They're up since before the pandemic, but again, it doesn't feel great when we see prices that have risen as much as they have. Again, grocery store, restaurants, we know this. Mr. Biden appears to have no intention of standing down, and the party appears to have no intention of throwing him out. There have been a lot of rumors about a Michelle Obama or Gavin Newsom, but you think we would start to see some hints of this, and we're really not. They're just rumors. Some people say, oh, just wait for the State of the Union in January. But I think the Democratic Party is probably going to play just wait and see how the economy unfolds here. I think they're very happy they have an extra year to try to figure it out. And then we get to this bottom line idea that maybe Democrats are just purposefully waiting because they think Trump will get convicted in at least one of these cases, and maybe then he'll be disqualified from actually running. Then you end up having a Biden versus like a Vivek or something like that, or a DeSantis. And even though I know a lot of people are big fans of Vivek, you're going to have to get a lot of Trump supporters who would not be able to vote for Trump in such a case, which I don't know, man. It's almost going to cause like a civil war, having to start dividing their votes amongst different Republicans. I mean, you could have anything happen then. It could be Biden versus Haley at that point, for all we know. So who knows? That's all pure speculation, but very interesting that could be what Dems are pushing for. And maybe that's why there's some pressure to get some of these court cases wrapped up. Anyway, that's the latest that I'm seeing on Trump, and I am shocked by this. And the polls for Trump, they look pretty good right now.
Why not advertise these things that you told us here? I feel like nobody else knows about this.
We'll try a little advertising and see how it goes.
Congratulations, man. You have done so much. People love you. People look up to you.
Kevin Paffrath there, financial analyst and YouTuber. Meet Kevin. Always great to get your take.